This is Clarity.
And this is the Yellow Tabletop Theater Conversation again.
Yes.
Here we are in the...
We are artists and creatives.
Oh, that's true. We are.
Yes. We work with work that is deeply seated in healing.
Mm-hmm.
It's in Princial, so that we've designed it so that you can take it in by sight.
Mm-hmm.
That we also have it where you can take it in by words and sight.
Mm-hmm.
People learn in so many different ways.
That's for sure.
And so some people learn by listening, some people learn by seeing,
Mm-hmm.
some people learn better through words, some people learn better through pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And so our work addresses all of those.
Yeah, it's
Because
a balance that way.
Yeah, because in healing, any kind of work in consciousness expansion and healing needs to be open to all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And so whether you're educated or not educated, whether you're able to understand through words or not,
Mm-hmm.
whether you're very young or very old, our pieces are in principle insight and sound.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Yeah.
So that's who and what our work is about.
And that's what makes us feel connected
Mm-hmm.
to every part of the process
Mm-hmm.
of becoming expanded in the way we see ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
That we can see ourselves in a new perspective that's more origamic, that folds and bends and is allowing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. I like that. So welcome to the Yellow Tabletop Theater Conversation tonight.
Yeah, we
Well, tonight as we record.
yeah, I think tonight is about connectedness.
Mm-hmm.
And how do we feel connected to our own humanity
Mm-hmm.
and our own spirituality and our own willingness to be creatively expressive in this world.
Mm-hmm. That's that lit inner flame.
Mm-hmm.
And more than likely, if you're here listening to this, you have that ember in you that's either glowing or roaring.
And we're actually doing this recording at night during this big snowstorm.
Yeah, a blizzard outside
It's a
right
blizzard
now.
outside, and the wind is blowing and everything. There's just, how much snow do you think we have now?
I don't know, but I think the totals they're saying it's going to be around 18 inches or so. So
Gosh,
that's a good storm.
it's been a nice, cozy day.
Mm-hmm.
And
This is going to be real fun when someone's listening to this during July or August. It'll probably be very refreshing.
I know,
Come to think of
it'll
it.
cool you down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool. We love the magic of snow. We love living in Maine.
And we love being tucked in like this.
Yes, we do. We love being tucked in.
Mm-hmm.
And
probably you do too. I mean, we're just suggesting that those that find their way here to listen to this more than likely have some kindredness in these kinds of feelings and desire for atmosphere that can kind of hold you and nest you so that you can nurture your creativity.
yeah,
Or
we're very nestial.
Find a way to muse.
And swaddling.
Mm-hmm.
Being swaddled and nested is so important.
Those are great words.
Yeah, and in Maine, it's just so easy to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have we live in a family of 5 that we're a community, but we've been together for 30 years.
Yeah.
And
That's truly family.
that's really family, and our families are connected to each other's families.
I know.
And,
I know.
and it's just become, we're all grandmothers and aunties to
Yes.
each other's.
Some of
dear
us are
ones.
grandfathers.
Yes. And Robert and I have been working together as Clarity for 33 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's been wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about
Magical ride.
connectedness.
Mhm.
And it's like anytime you begin an endeavor that's kind of outside the box,
Mm-hmm.
it's a different journey than something that fits in the box.
In the mainstream.
In the mainstream, yeah. And it's like, you know, I mean, so many people go for workshops and all kinds of schools and learning and everything. And for some reason, our work, that wasn't the journey of our work.
No.
That the journey of our creative work and healing work was how to become completely intuitive. How to be able to completely listen to the deepest of intelligence that you contain or you're able to engage with that is in regard to consciousness and raising your frequency and all those things. But most of all, being able to have your own dream and how to get to it.
And then once you are there or have come to the landscape of it, then how does it express itself?
Yeah, and the patterns came out from those questions. But the patterns we thought they were so intuitive that they had a whole process in their beginning that we didn't even understand.
No. We
And
were just open to them.
we didn't know when we started doing this work that what we had touched into was very instinctual, and it was like something we already knew that we didn't know we knew.
Yeah.
And so we became our own teachers.
Yeah.
We couldn't really go to a workshop on what we were becoming.
No.
And that's real unusual because that's the way the world lives, is through, you know, being taught and being mentored. And we had mentors of sorts at different times, but we had to walk the walk, and we had to ask the questions and find the answers. And so a lot
go out
of
to the raw edge.
Go out to the raw edge.
Yeah.
And so when we first started doing the patterns, or getting our bodies ready to be able to facilitate that, we had to learn to handle a lot more energy and a higher frequency than we were accustomed to.
And that was no small thing.
Oh, we still are going through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's no small thing to get used to that. And also to work with the mystical. Anytime you make a journey into the interior and intuitive world, you're going to bump into the mystical. And then when we first started, it's like the patterns that we then drew had a physicality to them that we really couldn't explain, but we felt connected to them, and there was a physicality about it. It was almost like they emerged from our own bodies. And I remember when we were first doing that of actually seeing large patterns come out of our own awareness and out of our own bodies. And it was like they had that we were pulling up through a deep watery kind of dark matter, and there were like columns that went down through it, and then there were frogs
at the base of the
columns. And we thought we had no idea what that signified.
Not a clue at the time.
Not a clue. We'd never studied the Egyptian mysteries of any sort. Had no exposure to that, except, you know, as children knowing the Sphinx and things like that. But the Egyptian mysteries are extremely beautiful to explore. And anytime you're exploring the sacred mysteries, you're going to bump into the Egyptian mysteries. But when we started drawing the patterns, we drew them together on small cards.
4x6 index cards.
And what we knew most that we had to accommodate ourselves for was to allow ourselves to allow the flow to move through us. But the other thing is that whatever the work we were doing was about the balance of the male and female. So we worked together on these small cards. with our right there,
It was
hand
a
to
small
hand.
size, but it sure was a big acreage.
It was big acreage. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And we the cards ended up when we got done. How many did we have? About 800. And each they were located in 10 different divisional groups,
Uh-huh.
and the different groups had different amounts. One was but they worked with different areas of consciousness and the healing realm.
I know.
So one deck was worked with flowers and the trinary codes of flowers and herbs and plants. And I had lived a life working with flowers and herbs and plants, so it was lovely. And they don't look like any of them. They're these beautiful patterns.
It's more their energy signature
Their
that we drew.
Yeah, their energy signature. And then then the next groups were one that worked with the body at 0 point, and it was like 100 of them, and they were gorgeous. But they worked with how all the different foldings of consciousness of the body, mind, and spirit. And they worked in great detail, and we wrote about them.
Yeah.
And the writing just was completely intuitive. We never analyzed it or corrected it. We didn't even understand it at first. But the beautiful thing is that we felt the truth of it.
Yeah.
We felt it in the rhythm, in the words. It was a consciousness, a language,
And
very equational, mathematical that I'd never
the language
encountered.
was very equational, mathematical. I'll repeat that because it's in that phase that the new language came in, and that's the language that has carried this work forward, because the way you were present with it, it was moving, it was alive, it was animated. It was animated language. So that's why words that normally would be like relationship or intuitive, it'd be relationshipial. The IAL carried it through motivation. It carried it through rotational instead of rotation. Rotation is this kind of set concept. Rotational takes the rotation and keeps it moving.
Yeah.
And that's what alchemy does. Alchemy is a forever moving forward, explorative system.
Yeah.
It is a system, but it's an open sourced kind of thing. It keeps moving.
Yeah. So we found that we were the teachers teaching ourselves, and that's a different journey than someone that goes to workshops and learns how to do things, which we would have loved, but at that time we did not even have the economy for that.
There were no teachers and no schools for what we had questions for,
and there was no salary or paycheck for what we were doing, but we'd given up most things in order to do the work.
We let go of it all to do this.
And we had very wonderful people that had the same questions and supported us, so that we could at least,
they gave us a community and a family, extended family, to support us as we did this explorative
and we've done it for
work.
33 years.
33 years.
And we've had a family that made sure we had food on the table, and that we had
a roof over our
head, and the time that we needed to do this work. So we've been. This site, the website that we have, that this is on, we've shared
it's the fruit,
and continue to share more and more of it. But there were 10 decks. There was the Body Zero. There was a holographic that worked with the holographic, the concept of the holographic projection of ourselves,
of how we are visible in this third dimension.
And then there was a deck that worked with the omnidirectional sight and equations of seeing in all directions, and that the imprints in all of these in these different decks, they're very different and colorful, and then some are just in gold and white, but they're specific to
Yes.
their own deck, and they have different amounts of numbers. The body zero is like 100. The holographic is like 26 or some 28, and then we had the Palladian, the creativity decks, two of those.
The inner and the outer.
Inner and the outer creativity.
Yeah.
And then we had the manifestation deck. We have that is, and then also we have the, what's the, the recognitional deck that works with the Christ light within us.
Yeah.
That was a big deck. That's 72 pieces. And they have different color codexes.
Yeah.
And
the manifestational deck.
yeah.
The omnidirectional, the recognitional, the Celtic deck.
The Celtic works with past life memory, and the portals and doorways in and out of previous lives, and that's pretty much what that works
with. And then
with.
the fairy deck.
The fairy deck
is the ancient fae deck.
Is the ancient fae, and that deck works with the trinary code and that memory. Then is that
the holographic.
I forgot to count.
Yeah.
There's 10 altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyhow, they all emerged at different times. But after we complete one, then we start another one.
Yeah.
Some of them were really comfortable to draw, and some of them actually were kind of painful to bring through. And we learned a lot of information as we were doing it.
You know, someone may say, well, how can something be painful that you're bringing through? But if it's that new and you don't have a reference, an outside reference.
Well, also if it has to move your frequency.
And, and that frequency, all of those points of consciousness have to shift. And it does have a physical effect on the body.
Well, and a lot of the decks work with moving blockages so that they actually move blockages of opportunities that have not been able to be reached because of
the block.
Of the blocks.
Yeah.
And they also change the frequency. They create doorways and portals. They create actual perspective change. And they most of all help you to get from here to there.
Yeah.
If you've got something you're moving or in your dream to help you get past what's in front of it. That's pretty much what it does, is wherever the flow is not moving easily, or matrices are being caught, then you these patterns interact with it, weave it, and loosen it, and make it release.
Yeah, and as it does that, then that imprint brings where the shift comes is when the insight lands. It comes in sight. You get a new insight into something beyond what the block was. And so that light, it's fine, it's still running. The light still moves it forward and keeps it fresh and expansive.
Yeah, and so
for you to grow.
So these patterns were written and drawn many years ago intuitively, and it's taken us many years to get to the point where, with all the books and everything we've done, we didn't really have a computer background or any kinds of the things that we've had to learn to do.
Yeah,
we've had to learn to not only do all the pieces, but photography, and then be able to put them into a format like the books, a format that other people can actually see them and utilize. And we're still working on it. We have like a book on the body zero, but which is 100, but the whole book is on that. But then, like the recognitional deck, we have it here, where you can see it in all these decks are here on this site.
Yeah.
But they're not all out like where people can pick them up or things like that. But here on the site, all you have to do is see them, and then we have the words with them, and together it's very powerful, and you can do it intuitively. You can work from one group to another, and the thing is because this process has had to be so deeply taken in and worked with. It's like
personal and visceral.
Personal that we've had to that we don't have a lot of the connections that people make in those kinds of learning places. So
the workshop
we've done with what we have.
The workshop connections that you get, or the schooling connections that you get, or the.
But it must not be as important. We just
isn't.
keep building it. We keep hearing. We've got how many books?
60
books we've published that are on the site, and they're gorgeous.
No, they're not all on the site yet, but they're in blurb. They're Clarity Artist.
Yeah, but most of them, a lot of them.
Yeah, a lot of them are, and more will be put on.
Yeah,
so.
and then we're now doing. We've been working with a group of 10 people for 10 years, gathering, and sometimes even more, to listen to the work. And the work, it's like a nesting doll. The patterns that there's work that have come out of what the patterns have moved, and then it's made room for whole new bodies of work to actually, and then to write books. So the information has just been all connecting to each other. Everything is connected to everything else.
Yeah.
And really it's showing us the pattern that no matter where we are in the world, that this work is connected to everyone.
Yeah.
And that's been a big concept to kind of hold.
It has been, hasn't it?
Uh-huh.
But a good one.
Yes.
And well worth.
But it has
well
emotionality
worth the effort.
to it.
Yeah, well worth the effort. But it's,
But it must be that we really move with, we listen and move. So part of this work is us to build this physicality of this website, to make the work available in either in paintings or books or the car, all available on this. And it's not really, we've not really had the funds to, put the books in bookstores or to put the decks and make them all in. There's something that's got to be digital with this.
Yeah.
Don't quite understand that because, I used to be, I raised flowers and herbs, and I was really a earth grounded person. And
you
I've
still
had to
are,
learn,
but
I have had to learn all of this digital world.
Yeah.
And it's been the only way, when you're following a path, there is, when you are guided, there are things that become available and things that don't become available. And you work with what you have here now.
Yeah.
And because it's intuitive and we're trusting, we're not out there beating the what do you call that? The bushes.
Yeah, beating the bushes.
Trying to manifest a way that is not really part of this work.
Yeah.
So we've had to be very patient and be very constant with it. And here we are now, and we're doing this tabletop theater on this site that we're building.
Yeah.
And there's a lot here available.
And I think
we hope you have. It takes time.
It does take time. Actually, if you think about it, this website here that you're on and that we're on and we're inside of and part of is like having an entire huge
library
of information that's right at your fingertips. So listening to this, we are so grateful that you're here doing so, but do take advantage of all that's on here. There are books that are available to look at. There are audios to listen to.
But the books are beautiful. It takes in the full visual needs of people, and they're not huge amount of words, but they take in there's audio for the needs to be heard, and then they're like almost, you could sit with a page could do that. We've broken it down to that.
Yeah.
So that, because sometimes the biggest concepts are held in the fewest words.
Absolutely.
And I know these books, they are like, one book is maybe 100 books.
Yeah. They are navigational in their in the work that
And
they
meditational.
provide. Yes.
And they transform and transmute, and they're also initiatory.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
And so it's like they're for the kind of person that wants to self-initiate themselves by.
Oh, that's well said, because that's where we came from. That's the seed of us coming together and then moving forward. So really, that's,
and we went from complete ignorance
it.
about it all until this full life of understanding way beyond anything we ever dreamed.
Yeah, anything we ever knew about.
And but it's more in perspective than it's changing the distance between things for us, for each person.
Yeah.
And no, we got a little bit more time. So if you see one part of this work, you have the potential through the one piece to see all of it. So it's for the person that doesn't have a lot of time, and then there are all of them for the person that has a lot of time. If you don't have a lot of time, you look at one piece of the Body Zero deck. If you're capable, you can look at all 100 pieces in that one piece.
Yeah.
Not everybody's capable of that. That's why we have the 100 pieces. And sometimes it's like if you read one book, it gives you a language that enables you the next time to read all of them.
Yeah.
Because the languages in these books they have a rhythm and a beat within them. The words are alive. There's not dead language.
No.
And that in the words, it's like after you do it a while, you get so you know the words.
You feel the rhythm, and
you become familiar
inside
with the language.
Yeah.
Then you start having big windows.
Then you can really explore.
Yeah. Then you have big windows that open up. So you can start small, or you can start large. And that's the way we've had to do it.
That's the way of things.
Yeah, the small and the large, and I think it's been a journey for us to feel connected. At the same time, we're not connected. We're connected to a part of the world, but we're not connected to all the world. We have never traveled that far. But we are connected to everything. And that's when you learn to travel from one space.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we get discouraged at times because it's that kind of process. But then at other times we feel so unbelievably privileged and excited about it. Because it's like you can go the distance of the whole universe from one pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because really, these are not just for this planet. I think that's why the work is the way it is. Because it's for all the planets and all the galaxies and the solar system and the universes. Because see, the seed of it is, if one part of the universe needs it, then they all need it.
Yeah.
That's how connected it is. So we're not alone in this time.
Not at all.
We're not alone on this planet at this time. All worlds and all galaxies are all part of this movement and are affected by it. That's why this time is so important. And I think that's why when we were 33 years ago, we realized that we had all been very aware of politics and aware of our own standards and our own ideas and our own spiritual resonances. But we realized that we couldn't debate the world
Mm-mm.
into change. We couldn't vote it into change.
Mm-mm.
Only thing we could do ourselves is be willing to change and then express that
And that is
visually
what we've done, my
and
dear.
in words and sound.
That's so beautifully said. This is the loveliness of this kind of journey, especially with two people. We've done this together for 33 years, and
Yeah, we don't fit in the male box or the female box.
Nope, we just fit
We fit in
into our world.
Yeah. We're a union.
Mm-hmm.
And everything that we do has to come out of that union.
Yep.
Not separation,
Mm-hmm.
but that union. And it's unending.
It's lovely.
And I think that's what makes this work so vast and unlimited
Mm-hmm.
and unending, is because we have to have that kind of relationship, and we have to have it flow through us into the work.
Mm-hmm. And that's its potency.
Mm-hmm. That's what makes it potent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, that was this table talk.
Yeah, it was this
about
table
connection
talk.
and potency.
Connection and Potency.
Yeah.
I think that'll be the title of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us, and we'll do another Yellow Tabletop Theater conversation very soon.
Yes, after the snowstorm.
Ooh, keep in touch.
Or maybe during again.
Yeah. Who knows? Thank you very much. Bye.